Welcome back. Week 3 of Catching Up with Coach, and head coach Scott Burt joins us. Coach, a tough week on the road against Reading. Couple things to build upon, though, in those 2 losses, and now you finally get to return home after 10 of the last 13 games for the month of January on the road. 5 in a row here at the First Horizon Coliseum. How's everything going? You got to sit back and watch a little outdoor NHL game last night, a goalie fight, a shootout. Let's start there. What were your thoughts on Tampa against Boston?
Well, to be honest, and I won't lie to you, I was falling asleep. And then all of a sudden I woke up and boom, I saw the score. I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a blowout. And then all of a sudden Tampa started coming back. There was a goalie fight. And then in the third period, you couldn't leave the couch. You had to watch it. And then obviously the overtime win by Tampa was pretty exciting. It was pretty entertaining, that's for sure. I told my wife, I said, watch, there's going to be a goalie fight. Sure enough, there's a goalie fight. Then I turned around in the same sentence, I said, and our goalie, Nikita Quapp, started this whole thing. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, think about the fights that have gone on, professional fights this year. He started it in South Carolina. Then there was Bobrovsky got into a tilt too. And then now, Vasilevsky gets into a tilt. So there's 3 pro fights this year, and I'm sure there's been a couple junior ones. So I turned around and I said, Nikita Quapp started this whole thing.
Well, the Greensboro Gargoyles are always must-see TV and revolutionaries in the game of hockey here. Your goaltenders have been something that you've prided yourself on, and although the results haven't been there, you've thought that they've played very well. We'll get to that in a second. It was Quapp who got the start on Friday, a 5-2 loss there, but 2 guys who get their first goals as Gargoyles. Blake Biondi loaned down from the Chicago Wolves for the weekend. Let's start with him on what he brings to the lineup over this past weekend and looking forward.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big-bodied player, plays with pace, plays with speed, hasn't had really the opportunity maybe up in Chicago what he'd like due to the fact that obviously at the beginning of the season, Carolina was hurt and Chicago was hurt, and he got some ice time then all of a sudden everyone starts to get healthy there, so kind of his ice was diminishing a little bit. There was a couple trades that they made up there for some forwards, so for him to come down gives him an opportunity to get back in a really playing shape, getting in situations that maybe he hasn't been in a while. But, welcome addition to our team. He played very well for us. The first night we had him on the right side. Second night we put him in the middle. But he was good. It was a beautiful goal that he scored. He had some great A opportunities that maybe he didn't connect on, but we're hoping that this weekend and that's throughout this week, and then however long we get him, he'll get that scoring niche.
The other first comes on a first career professional goal for Graeme McCrory, a guy you brought up from the SPHL. He was the one who kicked off the scoring on the weekend, and how big is that for the confidence of a group when you see a guy like that who's been working hard to stay in the lineup, to play at the next level, and he gets rewarded for his efforts?
Yeah, that's it. When you're bringing guys up from the SPHL, it's a step below the players here, the pace, the strength, the practices. Everything is a little bit different, right? So, and it's the same as American Hockey League. When guys go up there, it's a little bit slower here compared to up there. So when guys come down, they have that extra jump. For him to come up and to work, we're not putting him in a situation where he's going to fail, that's for sure. But in a situation where he can come in, he can just be him, play hard, and that's the biggest thing. We're not expecting him to score goals. We just need him to buy minutes and go out and play and until we can get healthy. But hey, he's making a name for himself here. Anytime the guys come up, hey, I told the guys this, right from the get-go, you have an opportunity to take a job from someone that's here. The more he plays the right way, gets these opportunities, takes full advantage of them, gives him an extra step. Say, hey, listen, I'm going to play, I'm going to stay, right? When there is injuries, we know that he is there and he can play, right? He scored. We're very happy for him, and he's a good teammate first and foremost. The guys really like him, so they were excited for him when he got his first.
Well, you were much more pleased with the effort in Saturday's loss. It was a 2-1 contest. Zach Fairmouth kicked off the scoring against his former team. The Royals got a couple back. Your team pushed down the stretch late, and this is where I want to emphasize the goaltending, because it was Ruslan Ajayev who had a tough start to the month, back in the crease after a career high and franchise high saves in a loss a week ago with 41. He now has 75 saves in his last 2 appearances. He stopped 34 of 36. Talk about the confidence in that goaltending tandem where they've been able to work with Jason Mazzotti, who came down to Reading a couple weeks ago, and seeing the growth of those two guys.
Yeah, that's it. I think at the beginning of the season, there was a little bit of adjustment for them. One's a German, one's a Russian, right? So, you're moving down to Greensboro. It's almost like they're opening their eyes. I think at the beginning of the season, it was a little overwhelming for them. But as they kind of got settled in, they're doing their job. You look at the goals, the 5 goals that we gave up on Saturday, you can't really blame Quapp at all for them. He probably would like one of the goals back, but those are errors that we made. Those are pinches down the wall, bringing pucks back, turning pucks over. Those are situations where we try and clean up. And then guys made those, and typically you want your goalie at the end to, if there is breakdowns, to make that extra save. But you can't fault him for any of those goals. And then obviously the next night, the Roots, the same thing. Our goalies are giving us every opportunity. It's silly mistakes, it's learning mistakes that guys are making that puts the puck in the back of the net there. You look, they scored. We didn't take care of the net front in the second goal, which is a shorthanded goal that they scored. And it's 2-0, and we're playing catch up again. But at times I have to give the guys credit for the never quit attitude, right? And the will that they have. We got ourselves back, and too many times this year, maybe it's a part of having a young hockey team. A lot of first year guys compared to some teams that had veteran guys out there. Too many times we're coming really close, but we're not getting that next cigar or that next goal, right? So for us, it's continue to play a full 60 minutes and find that 60 minutes and then find goals. And they've been tough all year for us, but we're starting to get some. We just when you're scoring a couple goals a week, and it's tough to win hockey games. So we got to find the goal scoring niche again, and hopefully we can get a couple this weekend.
In your post game on Saturday, you talked about the struggles to score there, and the power play has been a big factor. Held 0 for 9 on the weekend. Looking forward here, a chance maybe on home ice to use the crowd and get some momentum going in that way. Is there anything specifically you see on the advantage to try to capitalize a few more times and get some success going on the power play?
Yeah, it's about getting the puck to the net, and sometimes it's not about the finesse, right? We move the puck really well. We just have a tough time scoring goals. And hopefully this weekend we can get some. We haven't had any luck here at home on our power play. Matter of fact, it's been pretty stinky. But I know the guys have been working at it. They want to be better, but we're just not getting the goal scoring that we need. Like I said, we move the puck really well. Our breakouts are good. We enter the zone really well. We get set up really good. But sometimes it's one and done, or we're just not hitting that one-timer that we need. Open nets we're missing. So, sometimes you got to simplify it, and it's getting the puck up top, and it's putting it to the net and crash to the net. So I think if we can get one, we're going to get two, and then hopefully the floodgates open up for that power play. Like I said, they've been working hard at it. It's just they're not getting rewarded for some of the work they're putting in.
You look forward to this week now, and 4 games in 5 days at home after that tough travel schedule in the month of January. It starts Tuesday against Atlanta, and then 3 more games against Reading. What are you looking forward to this week as you prepare for those opponents?
Well, I think you and I talked about this. We have given Reading a lot of their wins this year, just like we've given Wheeling at the beginning of the season, right? It's when teams have their players down, and, it's almost sometimes easier for them, to play full games, and we haven't had that. We've had a lot of injuries throughout the year, and hopefully, us knowing Reading really well, we played them a lot here lately, that, we can get some. We know we can play with that team. But again, it's the one, maybe that one goal that we need, or one save that we need, that one turnover that has to get the puck out instead of turning it over, and them transitioning and coming at us is a big factor, and it's been a big factor all year for us. It just seems that if we make one little mistake, it turns into a big mistake. And, that's the growth of this hockey club and this team. And unfortunately, we're going to have some of that, those growth troubles throughout the year until we can really figure it out and continue to grow and build and get that confidence back.
You've now played Reading 7 times. You will play them 12 by the end of the season. We saw some festivities after the whistle, the feistiness getting up, and you've urged your team throughout the month to increase the physicality, and that's been a common theme. And I want you to look back on your career as you're going to get very familiar. I'm sure it's going to be a heated rivalry going forward against the Reading Royals. Is there any teams that you remember having to play over and over again and maybe having some discourse with?
Yep, there's a few teams, that's for sure. We've had I've had my encounters with a few teams, and I've been in the bench clearing brawl, and I've been in a few brawls that we jumped the boards, and a few tussles after periods have been done at center ice. Those are the fun ones at the end of the game. Sometimes it's not fun being a part of those. But, for my team here, I want them to be physical. It's a part of the game. And, I don't want our group to be known as a team that shies away from anything. I don't care if you're the smallest guy or the biggest guy. If you can show some compete and some will, and it's not all about dropping the mitts and fighting. It's about sticking up for one another. And if we can do that, that's building the family atmosphere that we want in our dressing room. But yeah, I think at times I even I tend to get a little feisty behind the bench, and I think it's the passion that we all have within us. But yeah, there's been a few mix-ups here and there, and that's just how it is when you play a team 12 times or 7 times so far.
Well, it's Margaritaville weekend this week. You can join the Gargoyles Friday and Saturday, February 6th and 7th, and enjoy some beachy vibes. Coach, after all these media appearances, I think you deserve a margarita. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, we can put some margaritas in our Reading's bottles too if you want. So with that,
a little bit of gamesmanship.
Yeah. With that being said, it's it's fun to see all these different jerseys. I know Reading was wearing Atari ColecoVision jerseys the other day. I don't even know if you know what ColecoVision is or what an Atari is. I think you know what a Nintendo 64 or those things are. But seeing all these specialty jerseys going out throughout the league is pretty fun, and obviously we'll see how these Margaritaville jerseys look.
Well, you can catch Coach Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. Tickets available at gargoyleshockey.com.